there everyone. Today's card I'm going to be using these metal sequins that I got off an old jumper that just didn't wash right in the end, so I just cut them all off and I'm going to reuse them for a card. So this topper bit measures, let me see, 4.5 by 3.25, and the bottom bit is just a normal A6 size card in black cardstock. And here I've just cut out a circle from the topper part of it. This is on the green-grey cardstock. I'm just using my colloidal cutting system to trim out these circles on this card. You can use a circle punch, that's quite a good way of cutting them out as well, but I just find my colloidal system the simplest. And here I'm just going to use my corner chomper on the... Originally I started off with the 1/4 inch setting and just to trim those corners down. I really should have done this before I cut out the circle in the middle, because it was really hard to get the card inside the corner chomper because it was so weak by that point. And I'm using the 1/2 inch setting on the corner chomper to chop out those bottom corners of the card, on the base card. And I looked at it and then I decided actually I was going to use the 1/2 inch setting on the grey-green topper as well, just because I like that look a bit better for this card. And then I just got the grey-green cardstock in the right place and then just drew a light circle, just so I'd know where to cut out a slightly smaller circle from the base card, because I want to be able to see inside the card and I needed that to be in exactly the right place. And again, I just used my colloidal cutting system here and to just use my scissors there to trim out that last bit of the circle, and then just erased that pencil circle. This is a new set of stamps I picked up a few months ago now actually. I think it's called Jane Script and they're Woodware stamps, and it's just really pretty sentiment stamps, and I think I'm going to be using them quite a lot because I really like this swirly font. And I'm just using the Happy Birthday from this stamp set. So, trusty Versamark ink. I'm inking it really well because I've never used this stamp before and I want to make sure it's covered it properly. And I almost made an error here by stamping it the wrong way up, which is probably not a good idea. So check it before you stamp it, everybody. And then I just stamp that down using this Versamark ink. And then I'm using some seafoam white embossing powder. I'm just going to hit that with a heat tool right there. I'm doing this before I do my pattern background on this card, basically because if I'd left it till afterwards, I wouldn't have been able to A, draw on there with my faux stitching gel pen because it doesn't draw over embossing powder, and B, I wouldn't have been able to use the white embossing powder over the clear embossing powder because the clear embossing powder would have picked up the white embossing powder and it would have just been a huge mess. So this is why I've done the Happy Birthday sentiment and the faux stitching first before I use this stamp, which is a Fiskars mesh stamp, I believe. It'll be in the credits at the end anyway. And I'm just inking this up really well with my Versamark ink, just making sure I get the whole thing covered. And then I'm lining it up just off the edge of the card, and then just rolling in one swift firm movement across the card, and then I know it's all covered and it's fine, and you get a really good impression that way. And then I'm going over it with my clear embossing powder, and it doesn't matter that the birthday sentiment picks up this clear embossing powder because it you know, it's going to stay white and it'll look fine. And then I'm just going to heat this whole sheet up with my heat gun to set that clear embossing powder. I've then put quite a few 3D stickers on to raise it up off the card, and then I've also threaded a ribbon through. Well, I put the ribbon through so I didn't have to thread it through afterwards because it's a bit fiddly, because I want to tie a ribboner just above that Happy Birthday stamp. So I've pressed that down, and then I'm just going to tie a knot here using this black ribbon with a kind of faux stitching border. Well, it's not faux stitching, it is actual stitching, but it just ties it in well to the faux stitching I've put around that circle. And I've just tied this in a knot, but I think it would look pretty cool in a bow as well, so that's entirely personal choice. I'm just going to trim off those ends so they're not too long. Then I've stuck down the circle that I cut out of the topper on the inside of the card, and I'm going to just set up these metal sequins in a U, the letter U shape. And I'm just using, there's a couple of different sizes of these sequins, and I'm just using them in no particular order just to create that U shape. And then I'm just going to use my PVA glue to stick them down. I'm also sticking that down the number 2 because it's happy birthday to you. And I'm just sticking that in the middle at the top of the letter U. And you can just see there, the glue's not dry, but it will dry clear, so it won't look quite that messy and untidy. It'll look fine. Then I just did some faux stitching around the edge of the card to finish it off. And that's the finished card. I hope you enjoyed today's card. I'll see you next time. Bye!